It's time to go racing here at Atlanta Motor Speedway for the Schue's Lawn Care Total Nonstop Racing Cup Series. Here we go for race number 3 of the season. Now, you may be wondering, scratching your head, like, I've never seen this series before, and that's understandable. Tonight we are taking over the broadcast duties for 3Wine TV, so shout out to those guys. If you want to see the opening races at Daytona, their doubleheader, you can go to their YouTube channel and go see those past live streams. But for tonight, we're here on JCTV. I'm Dawson Allen, as always, the voice of JCTV. Joining me tonight in the booth is, noted loser in the Independence News Cup Series, but soon to be broadcast colleague for the Slide Job Racing League, Brett Bennett. Brett, welcome to the booth.
Yeah, it's great to be here tonight. Should be a fun race here. The Gen 4 cars always put on a good show, and especially here at Old Atlanta where they're going to be sliding around.
Yeah, and it should be a fun one for sure. Now, we don't know many of the drivers in this field. We are going to be learning along with everybody watching that may have never watched a Total Nonstop Racing Cup Series race. But there are some familiar names that are involved with this that we've interacted with, we've seen throughout everything. Tom Bourne is one that comes to mind. He was a driver in the Pitts News Cup Series very early on, so we know that name for sure. He is here tonight, currently the fastest car in practice right now. Third place, Matthew Rodriguez was also another driver that we've seen racing in the Pitts News Cup Series, in the Independence News Truck Series. So we have some familiar drivers, we have some familiar names. So it's just about getting used to seeing them. And of course, there you see Alonso Chicano in the 25. If you don't know him on JCTV Action, then who are you? But we've got 20 drivers so far. About 11 minutes left in practice tonight. Before we get ready to go racing, Brett, what did you see? Just looking back, what was your takeaways from just looking through what happened last week at Daytona in the doubleheader?
Well, it was an impressive performance from Bronson Stafford. He took home the win in both races, which, having raced at Daytona many times, to sweep a doubleheader at Daytona is one of the most difficult things to do because there is so much chance. You have to position your car so well. So that's really impressive. It'll be interesting to see if he can keep it going here tonight and try to go for his third straight win.
Yeah, he was the winner last week in both races at Daytona, so he is looking to continue that stretch here tonight and go for 3 in a row. You see that Hugger Orange's scheme, very reminiscent, I would say. Brett, do you agree with that one?
Yeah, it's always nice to see the throwback to NASCAR Racing 2005. I know I got one of the first racing games I was ever playing was NASCAR Racing 05. Probably Thunder 04 before that, but still, those EA Sports NASCAR games I think were a lot of people's introduction to the sport and to racing video games, such as and eventually progressing to a simulator like iRacing. So it's always good to see throwbacks to it. It brings back some good memories.
Yeah, Bronson Stafford not the only one in that scheme as well. Matt Muir in the 77, driving that exact same scheme as well. Of course, the difference being the roof numbers, as you can see, the 77 with that bright orange roof number compared to the green color on the top of the 61. So that'll be our way to determine who's who tonight while watching from the skies. But that 77 currently ninth fastest, in practice right now. Tom Bourne still up top. Chuck Sweeting is second. Then it's Matthew Rodriguez, Bronson Stafford, and then it's Lupe Gonzalez rounding out the top 5 as we continue to watch. We've got 20 drivers now in the session. 19 have set a lap time. There's one that's currently on track to set a lap time right now, and that is the 13. That is James Lorello, and I saw that scheme from a mile away there. That Scooby-Doo Cartoon Network scheme running down through 3 and 4 there.
A couple of good throwback schemes here tonight. You got the Scooby-Doo Cartoon Network scheme throwing back. I believe that was Jeff Green back in the late 90s. Or I believe it was Melling or maybe another team. I think it was the 29. And you also have, I believe, Alonso Chicano running a Casey Mears throwback to the National Guard scheme that Casey Mears' one career Cup Series win came in.
He didn't win in that car. He won in an all-camo car. You're talking to a Mears expert here. Yeah, he is driving that number 25 machine. You can see the National Guard scheme that Casey Mears drove for a couple years there while driving with Hendrick Motorsports. I just kind of looking more throughout the field. Shane Ewing currently sits 8th place, fastest right now, out on track. Just kind of learning new names, new faces, kind of picking through the stats columns to see if, anything stands out here.
Well, I will say, having looked at the stats a little bit earlier, the all-time leading winner in this league is a name that should be familiar to JCTV viewers, especially if you've watched the Into Pits News Truck Series over the seasons. Jason Gracias, although he is not in this session tonight. But that should be a name that is familiar to a lot of viewers here.
He's the third most winningest all-time driver in this series, but there's the winningest driver of all time. That is the 47 of Floppy Tellier. You see him in that Tim Horton scheme. I've been told he's Canadian. I am so sorry for that. I'm hoping they can find a cure for that sometime soon, but for now, he is here. Currently sitting 10th fastest right now. And talking about his pedigree in this league, just looking through the stats, he is currently up there he's up in the top 10, I should say, excuse me. I lied to you, I'm sorry. He has some of the most starts. He has 11 wins across his career. He has the most starts of any driver in this league with 164. This will be number 165 tonight that he will be starting in. So we'll be watching that number 47 car, seeing what he can do here tonight. I noticed another driver has popped in, Joseph Heater. And this one here, his name is just Dawes.
Yeah, that's all I got. So Dawes. It's going to be easy to get that one right, I think.
Yeah, you'll still find a way to fumble it. Don't worry. It is a
Mountain
Dew scheme. Very interesting scheme, I should say. I see a dragon on the front of it, it looks like. Looks like a watermelon-based flavor. Mountain Dew scheme.
Yep, Major Melon.
Yeah, he's out there working on getting some lap time set down as well. There's Joseph Heater back in the background, I believe, merging onto the track right now, just behind him. Actually, no, that is the 28 car.
Jamar Dumas.
Yeah, Jamar Dumas is joining the track there. There was another throwback scheme right there. You were talking about throwback schemes. That is a throwback scheme in and of itself as well. The Haviland scheme.
The classic Robert Yates Racing 28 Haviland scheme. Probably made most famous by either Ernie Irvin, because it's that all-black scheme kind of take over from the white scheme that Davey Allison ran for a while.
Really 17th fastest on the boards right now is fast lap of 31.193. And you can kind of see all those lap times there on the side, how kind of close they are. All of them pretty much are within a second for the most part. And you can see the top 10 is all within 0.3 of a second. The fastest lap, the top 11 actually, all within that 0.3 of a second gap. All the way back to Bill Edwards in 11th. And everybody's just kind of getting that last minute practice. See the 28, head on into the wall there. Through one at the exit of 2.
That's going to be something they're going to have to look out for in this car, especially. The Gen 4 car on iRacing has a really bad tendency to get loose off the corner, and it's so easy to overcorrect it and have it snap back on you. I think that's what happened to Dumas there. That's going to be something interesting to watch for, especially early in runs. This car, even late in runs, this car has way more horsepower than I think any other car that we broadcasted on JCTV for the most part. You can actually spin the tires on the straightaway at 160 miles an hour in this car, and that's not something you can do in a lot of cars on iRacing. So throttle control is going to be very important tonight.
Got to look through some of the field here. Onboard camera. See the 99, that's Philip Scott. Looks like he is coming to a stop on the back straightaway there. It's Vincent Valvano, 64, currently 13th fastest here in practice.
And I got to think I will say, I don't think the single lap times are going to be the biggest key here. I think the key is going to be, as you see in a lot of races, but especially in this Gen 4 car, the tires, keeping the tires under you, especially at a track as abrasive as this old version of Atlanta Motor Speedway before they reconfigure it to a super speedway. I think that's going to be the real key to getting to victory lane here today.
Yeah, definitely worth watching. That's going to be the big key to it all, is just a matter of survival. Being able to make this car last and not have any issues. You see there's the 9, that is Joseph Heater. That Menard scheme. Of course, if you look at that scheme there, it's more reminiscent of a Paul Menard scheme, I would say, or maybe a Matt Crafton scheme. Of course, Brandon Jones drives the number 9. Junior Motorsports entry in the NASCAR Xfinity Series, so that kind of pulls from that as well, it looks like. Back
Yep.
behind him there, I believe that is the 95, perhaps the 96, excuse me. Parking, running just behind him. That is Brandon Buchwald, the 96, that Tim Horton scheme, another Canadian.
Yeah. It might be considered negative for some, but it appears we have 3 Canadians in the field. The driver who swept the races at Daytona, Bronson Stafford, also from Canada. So an international flavor here tonight.
Yeah, and talking about Canadians, let's pivot to what we got coming up this week on JCTV. This is not the only race that's gonna be running this week. Obviously, we've got some more racing this week, so you can see there tomorrow night, July 11th at 9 p.m. Slide Job Racing League. We'll have the Duels at Daytona. Speaking of Canadians, Dane Cruz, your pole sitter for the iRacing 2250. Can he keep it in one piece at the end of the duel? We'll find out there tomorrow night. Then on Friday night, Phoenix Raceway for the NAOR Series. They head there, presented by DI9 Designs at 9 p.m. Eastern, Friday night. And then Saturday night, it's the In the Pits News Truck Series. They go to Martinsville. Good God Almighty, why? It's gonna be that's gonna be an entertaining one, that's for sure.
We are all going to die. It will be a fun race. I honestly thought I came close to the win last year there, so I look forward to seeing how I will disappoint myself this time and come nowhere close to winning.
You always are close to winning something.
Yeah, well, in my mind, I'm like a 20-time winner. Just on track, I think the number's still 0.
So it looks like we have 24 drivers lined up and ready to go here tonight. So we just got a minute and 50 to go. Getting that last minute practice in that they can get. Getting prepped and ready to go here at Atlanta now. Taking a look at your race analysis. These drivers are getting ready to get qualifying underway. We'll go ahead and look and see at what you're looking forward to in tonight's race. It's going to be... I see. So that's all wrong. Don't pay attention to the race length because that says we are going for... I believe that is 2,147,483,647 laps for a whopping grand total of 3,242,553,358 miles. It's going to be an endurance race. And, of course, Stage 1 is lap 30. Stage 2 is lap 60, so no worry about there. But clear weather, and the track temp is 122 degrees. The race length is actually 100 laps, and it's going to be close to about 150 miles. I always forget doing this in practice does not work. It does not like it in practice because it goes based off of the practice session. But yeah, 2,147,483,647 laps. That's a long race tonight for these drivers. It's going to be a worry about...
Gonna probably need some assistance, some driver assistance there. Gonna have to plan the bathroom breaks well in that race.
But a big thing too about this as well, they do have stages. You saw stage 1, stage 2, lap 30, lap 60, but they are rolling stages, so there will be no cautions for these staged conclusions, and it's the top 8 that get stage points. So we'll be watching those top 8 battles as we get to the conclusions of lap 30 and lap 60 to see if anything shakes up or anything. And the fuel tank is going to be a lighter fuel tank than normal. It's going to be a 65% fuel tank capacity. So there will be pit stops. There will be maybe at least 2 pit stops, I believe. We'll have to see how things shake out in this race. So practice is over. Tom Bourne was fastest in the practice session. So we are now into qualifying. We look to see who will be the first to roll off pit road here. I believe that is the 5 of Bill Edwards.
And here, I have not run the Gen 4 car here in a while, so I am not sure whether it's going to be a track where you want to get the Gen 4. A lot of times you want to set a quick second lap because the first lap you just won't have the heat in the tires, but we'll have to see how it plays out.
Yeah, it's all about how it plays out, so we'll see. But plenty of drivers out on track right now. Tom Bourne, Brandon Buchwald, Floppy Tellier, Chuck Sweeting, Will Ratcliffe, Matthew Rodriguez out on track right now. Alonzo Chicano is out there, as is Philip Scott. Jamar Dumas, excuse me, James Lorello, all drivers out making a qualifying lap right now, but we are following the 5 of Bill Edwards right now as he makes his way through 1 and 2.
Yeah, it looks like he is going to try to set a fast time on the first lap as he hooks the bottom there. If you're going to try to set a second lap fast, you probably would run the top on the first lap. Then again, the Gen 4, you can run the bottom both laps and still generate a lot of speed coming to the line for the second lap.
And that might be the goal. If I'm looking at this right, this is the right driver. Bill Edwards has 5 career wins to his name. He took a provisional last week, did not run, but he is here tonight. This will be number 118 in the starts column for the driver of the 5, so we'll see if he can try to get to the top of the boards. Right now, Philip Scott is your fastest car in qualifying. Bill Edwards going for lap number 2. See if he can pick it up and improve.
Yeah, Philip Scott and Tom Bourne both laid down really good first laps, going to the top of the board.
Over to the stripe. It is a slight improvement
quicker
for Bill Edwards, but it's not going to be enough. He's 5th fastest right now as Matthew Rodriguez to the top of the boards on his first lap. We'll see what he can do for lap 2 as he makes his way through 1 and 2.
Yeah, as he's already gotten passed by Chuck Sweeting and Philip Scott, both of them with very fast laps. I know that for sure that was Philip Scott's second lap, and I'm looking at it right now, that was also Chuck Sweeting's second lap. So both of them going quicker on their second lap.
Oh, sliding down towards the apron. He gets it back together. It's not going to be an improvement, though. It's going to be a 31-0, so he'll have to settle for 4th right now with a 30.9 for his qualifying run. So that's going to mire him back at least a little bit. He's not going to be able to benefit from a good lap. We go back to the 74. This is Jake Bustos. He is currently out on his first timed lap. See some more shuffling around. Shane Ewing goes 7th fastest at 30.989 just there. Vincent Valvano goes a 31.096 for 10th fastest on the boards right now.
Bronson Stafford in his attempt to get 3 straight goes 2nd fastest, a 30.817 on his second lap.
Following the 74, that neon green 74 goes 11th fastest on his first lap, and it's about the second lap, and he slides it into turn 1. That's not going to help him build up enough momentum for this second lap, but he's going to still go for it, see what he can get out of it, if he can improve and try to go for the pole.
Yeah, if I'm on a slide, I'd rather it be on the entry to the corner than the exit. You can maybe recover from that. I don't think he'll be able to, though. That definitely costs him some time.
Out of 4, coming to the front straightaway at the line that time. It's a slight improvement, a 31.152, but that, or 31.135, excuse me, but that keeps him back in 12th. We have, it looks like, about maybe 6 or 7 drivers that have yet set a lap time with 1 minute and 12 left to go in qualifying. I do not anticipate them to set a qualifying time.
Yeah, it does not appear that they will. We still have Will Ratcliffe out there making some laps, but he's already completed his qualifying run, and now he's pulling into his box, maybe just getting some pit road practice, as he has now left his car.
Yeah, so he will tow it away. So far as it stands, we wait to see. Looks like it'll be Bob Giaquinto, Lupe Gonzalez, Robert Tripp, Garrett Gleason, Dawes, Joseph Heater, and Jason Schue. They do not go. I don't know why there is an antivirus popping up there. That's cool. But those 7 drivers are not going to set a qualifying time with 18 seconds to go here. So we will have your starting grid lined up and ready to go in just about 10 seconds. We've just got to do the formalities of letting the whole 5 minutes go through here.
I'm blaming the Canadians in the race for your antivirus popping up.
Something like that. So qualifying is complete. The checkered flag falls, and we have a starting lineup ready to go here for 100 laps here at Atlanta. If I pull up this race analysis, there you see it's proper and right. 100 laps for 151 miles. Stage 1, lap 30. Stage 2, lap 60. They are rolling stages, so there will be no caution flags for those stage breaks, but there are still natural cautions for in case there's any incidents out on the track. 124 degrees is the track temperature right now with clear skies around this racetrack, so it'll be fun to watch these drivers navigate. But we'll take a look here at your starting lineup presented by JCTV. Starting on the pole here tonight, it's going to be the 75 of Chuck Sweeting. To his outside is the 61 of Bronson Stafford, looking for 3 in a row. Philip Scott starts in row number 2 alongside Tom Bourne. Then it's Matthew Rodriguez and James Lorello starting in row 3. Shane Ewing and Floppy Tellier start in row 4, and rounding out your top 10 is Alonso Chicano and Vincent Valvano.
And the rest of the top 20, sorry, we have Jonathan Gaston and Jake Bustos on row 6. Brandon Buchwald and Bill Edwards make up row 7, starting 13th and 14th. 15th and 16th on the grid, we got Jamar Dumas and Matt Muir. On row 9, Will Ratcliffe and Lupe Gonzalez. In row 10, the man they call Daz and Bob Giaquinto.
And running out the your field in 21st will be Jason Schue. 22nd will be Garrett Gleason, Joseph Heater, and Robert Tripp. 23rd and 24th, that will be the tail end of your field for tonight's race. So, as we get ready to go green here, Brett, who is your pick to win this race tonight?
I'm gonna take somebody. I'm gonna go with the easy pick here, based on the results of the one race they've had this season, which is I'll take Bronson Stafford to make it 3 in a row, starting on the front row in a good position to possibly do it.
You're taking Bronson Stafford. I'm gonna go with something familiar, something true. I'm gonna go back to that 9th place starting position for Alonso Chicano. I'm gonna have my eye on that 25 machine. That's my pick to win here tonight because, hey, that's the name I know. That's the name I've seen succeed multiple times, including a win earlier this season, just 2 weekends ago in the Pits News Truck Series. But we'll see what he does tonight here in the Gen 4 cars at Atlanta.
He may have won 2 weeks ago, but he didn't set a record.
We'll put the reminder up there at the top of the ticker, stage 1 at the conclusion of lap number 30 for the drivers here tonight.
It'll be interesting to see how it. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out with the stages, as refers to pit strategy. Only 3 sets of tires for this race. I was not sure if it was 3 in the pits. Let me check real quick. It is actually 3 in the pits. So they will have 4 sets of tires total.
Pair they're starting on, and they'll have the 3 sets extra, which I imagine we will see them use up a majority of them, if not all of them, at the end of this one. So as they round through 3 and 4, Chuck Sweeting, Bronson Stafford are your front row. As the pace truck will make a dive towards safety on pit row, that leaves the field in the hands of that number 75 machine heading to the start-finish line. The green flag is out, and we are racing in the C2 Graphics 150.
Oh, a huge checkup on the top there. Almost several cars getting into each other. They all kept it together, though. Looked like a Floppy Tellier almost got into the back of, I believe that was the 29.
Slipping back here, Vincent Valvano already back 3 spots from the drop of the green flag as a massive shakeup through the field happens. Battle going on for the 8th spot between Alonso Chicano and Shane Ewing. Ewing's going to win that battle now, heads towards Matthew Rodriguez. The battle with Bronson Stafford gets out in front and is going to lead the first lap. See Tom Bourne here back in 2nd place, already tracking down this race leader as quick as he can. Stafford got a really good start there, but he's not able to escape this reach of the 16 car as he's closing in slowly, bit by bit, reeling up on the race leader.
And that's going to be something they're going to have to watch out for here. Is this car does have a tendency to get aero tight, as Alonso Chicano just almost forced his nose under Matthew Rodriguez, almost got together with him entering turn 1 there. They are dicing back and forth here on the backstretch.
Shane Ewing up to 6 now, past the 47. And that'll let Matthew Rodriguez down to the inside to try to follow up behind him, pushing up the track right next to that 47. Rodriguez will advance his spot up to 7th now as the battle between Chicano and Bustos goes on for 9th.
Chicano already up near the fence, maybe trying to find some speed on that top lane. Might be a little early in the race for it to be there. Might need the tires to wear off a little bit before that top line really starts to come in, I think.
Side by side just ahead. Tellier trying to get to the inside of Rodriguez. Couldn't quite do it, so the 57 advances out front. Mind the battle for the lead, though, is underway. Tom Bourne to the inside of Bronson Stafford.
He can't quite get there, though. Good run off the corner there for Stafford. He's going to maintain the lead for the moment, but that 16 is all over him and is going to keep trying to make a move here.
This battle here has allowed Chuck Sweeting to reel these two back in. Our pole sitter, after that bad start, is caught back up, so he's right there in the picture as well. And that number 75, that black and green car. So he's going to have a good shot to go for this as well. You see, he'll wrap the bottom while the leaders take the top. Back in the background, Philip Scott as well is using that top lane. It seems everybody's kind of moved up towards the top. No one's really going for that Harvicking line.
Yeah, I do know a lot of times that top lane will be a little bit better on your front tires, but a lot of times it will be actually worse on your rear tires. So it's kind of a bouncing act. A lot of times tracks like this, I like to kind of alternate the two lanes because one, they tend to be different on, so you wear your tires a little more evenly. Sweeting is making really good progress on the bottom as the 16 gets to the inside of Stafford for the lead. Tom Bourne.
Stafford pushed it up through the middle of 1 and 2, just about got the wall, slowed him up a little bit. That's allowed Tom Bourne back to his inside. Here comes the 16 charging to the front here at Atlanta, sliding just about out of the corner. But he, so far, maintains the top spot at the line that time. In that old-fashioned Atlanta drag race, the 16 would have been credited with the lead at the line that time. He's still fighting hard on the inside.
Yeah, still side by side. They're going to... I thought maybe Tom Bourne could have slid up the track and cleared him, but probably made the wise decision to not do so, and him not doing that appears it's going to let the 75 of Chuck Sweeting right back into it as he almost gets to the outside of Tom Bourne.
And this battle is allowing the 99 of Philip Scott to get back in, so what started off as a one-car breakaway is suddenly into a four-car tango as all of them trying to get this spot here, want to get out front and lead as many laps as they can.
There was almost contact between Chuck Sweeting and Tom Bourne on the front stretch there. They both kind of went for the bottom, both trying to look like they're trying to looked like Sweeting was trying to glance under Bourne, and Bourne was trying to get under Bronson Stafford. They are still right there, and Philip Scott going to look to the inside of Chuck Sweeting.
Scott down the bottom, you see Tom Bourne just about on that outside wall, as tight as he can get to it, right there with the back bumper of Bronson Stafford in his windshield. Now it looks like he is peeking to the outside.
The only problem with the outside is usually the inside line can clear you on entry, and if he can slide up in front, but he's not going to be able to. I think Tom Bourne's going to get the lead here.
And here comes Chuck Sweeting with a good run here down the back straightaway. He's going to get to the outside of Bronson Stafford as well.
All four drivers
right now looks like slowing down. Floppy Tellier is back to 11th. Has dropped about 3 spots in just the last few seconds. This 47 is all over the place, battling Brandon Buchwald to his inside. This is 410th right now. They are fighting aggressively back here just as much as they're fighting for the lead up here. It's a 4-car battle. You see Sweeting pushing to the outside of Stafford again. And here comes Philip Scott to the inside. They go 3 wide. Scott trying to go 2 for 1.
You're really seeing different lanes come into play here. Tom Bourne loving to see everybody 3 wide behind him as he is going to gap the other 3 behind him a little bit here as they battle.
What a pass by Philip Scott, a 2 for 1 to get to second. Now he sets his sights on the rear bumper of the 16. And that's also brought in Shane Ewing and James Lorello to this pack. So now we have 6 cars up here battling for the lead. Matthew Rodriguez not far behind in 7th. And here comes the pass to the inside. Philip Scott going for the lead.
He's got a huge run off the corner. He might clear him right here. And he will. Philip Scott. No, not quite clear. Got a little ahead of myself there.
Yeah, not clear yet, but he's got the run on the inside to try to force it. He might slide up right here in front of Tom Bourne. Indeed, he does.
Right up in front of him.
Bourne going to try to cross him over if he can. Scott, though, is going to clear. So now Philip Scott takes the race lead away here on lap number 13.
And don't look now, but that battle has brought James Lorello in the 13 and Shane Ewing in the 32 right up into the front, into this front pack in the battle for the lead.
6 cars in this breakaway. Matthew Rodriguez not far behind. Behind him as well, Jake Bustos and Alonso Chicano, 8th and 9th. They can also pull back in here as quick as possible. But right now, Philip Scott leading the charge. Tom Bourne going back to the bottom if he can make it work. And he's got Chuck Sweeting still right behind him. Oh, almost issues Bronson Stafford with a bobble. James Lorello able to maintain and keep off of him. We stay straight, we stay green.
They are all really pushing their cars right now. My only concern for these drivers is what kind of wear are they putting on their tires early in this race?
Already about a 1.5 seconds of fall off for the race leader compared to his best lap time. Same goes to Tom Bourne and Chuck Sweeting. So they are definitely hurting on the tires, but I mean, that was to be expected with them pushing this hard on this track. This surface is so abrasive to these tires. You're going to have a lot of tire wear in this race, and then we're seeing it now with how hard they're pushing. It's going to be a matter of who can manage it the best, and right now, Philip Scott seems to be the one in charge out front as we approach the halfway point of Stage 1.
And speaking of managing the tires, your pick, Alonso Chicano, was the fastest car on track last lap. Maybe he has done a good job saving his tires, as that time actually Philip Scott that time by, though.
And some of the faster laps on track in the past few laps has belonged to the 25 of Alonso Chicano, back in the 8th position right now. Currently ahead of the 74 of Jake Bustos. He's coming up on Matthew Rodriguez, just up ahead of him. And this pack is all right there as well. So he's got a chance to kind of reel them in and pick up some more stage points if he wants them.
James Lorello and Bronson Stafford currently battling for the 4th position here. Bronson Stafford looking under him.
Oh, Tom Bourne gets the wall, has to gather it back up. Lorello now right on his back bumper.
That car of Tom Bourne does not look like it is very stable right now.
So he continues to fight it. He falls back to 3rd now. And you see there, Bronson Stafford had an issue inside of James Ewing, I should say. And now Ewing takes the 5th spot. Here comes Matthew Rodriguez to the inside, going for 6th.
Also, Will Ratcliffe has pulled into the pits. Looks like he got the wall in turns 1 and 2. And he has pulled into the pits. Not sure if he got damage or if he's just calling it a night.
He's already 2 laps down. Over a minute-long stop for him, but 2 laps is going to be the deficit. He's going to have to fight from behind. Chicano to the inside of Rodriguez. This is for 7th now. Here comes the 25 machine roaring to life in the late run of this stage.
Yeah, we now have over 2 seconds of fall off from the start of this race, so you're really seeing the tires wear.
Yeah, it's going to be a thing we're going to see all night. Tires are going to wear, and we're going to see these guys really slow up. And that's going to be the factor that we're going to come into play. Who can manage these tires the best? Right now, Philip Scott doing a fantastic job, but Chuck Sweeting is catching. He is pulling up on him, and he has not let that 99 get away just yet.
And I have to wonder if maybe we'll see some people go for maybe a 3-stop strategy instead of, I would think with the fuel being what it is, I think you would probably be able to make it on 2 stops. But the amount of fall off you're seeing, it could be worth trying a 3, and we'll see. Especially if you're somebody not running for points in this league, who the stage points don't matter as much because you'd be giving up stage points to do it.
It'll be 10 laps to go here in the stage. You see a battle happening in the background. Alonso Chicano trying to get to the 61 of Bronson Stafford. But right now, it's still Philip Scott out front, but he's got company coming soon. Chuck Sweeting is right there, wrapping the bottom, cutting into the lead.
Meanwhile, Jake Bustos trying to get by Alonso Chicano. They're going to go side by side, but he can't get the run on the bottom.
Can't quite get the run, so he's going to have to sit in 8th for now. Still stage points positions, but he's trying to fight back to the inside of that 25 of Alonso Chicano if he can. Things are kind of slowing up and easing back out and equaling out here for everybody.
As the 3 of Jason Schue has pulled into the pits.
Sweeting, though, is cutting into the lead as he runs right now, rolling right up on the back bumper of Philip Scott.
Lanciano with a good run down the front stretch. Oh, he got loose in the dog leg there. Almost lost it through the dog leg.
Came so close to sliding there, but he gathered it back up. Now here comes a fight to the outside from the 74 of Bustos. Now trying to get the run, can't quite get it. And you know Bronson Stafford.
Ooh, he gets slid there, and he's going to get under him here. That was an aggressive clear by Alonso off of turn 2, and I wonder if Bustos might try to slide him here. Doesn't look like he's going to have enough momentum to do it, though.
Last week's winner, Bronson Stafford, definitely happy. Oh, James Lorello, wicked loose there on the front straightaway. Somehow gathered it back up, but I see somebody else is slowing down right now. I believe the 47 of Floppy Tellier came into pit road. Indeed he has. He's going to forego his 11th place position and try to see if some new tires are going to be what he needs to do to try and scoop up some points in stage 2. Meanwhile, you see they flopped on the front stretch, on the lead, excuse me. Philip Scott to the bottom, Chuck Sweeting to the top, seeing if he can make it work and try to get this stage point and get the stage win.
Yeah, I think that's going to show that Floppy Telly are going to go for a 3-stop strategy here, pitting here, probably going to split the race into quarters instead of into thirds, and forego the stage points here. The way people are getting loose right now, I would not want to pit because I feel like somebody's about to spin out. You can tell the rear tires just are not under these cars right now.
Well, the thing is, with that 47, he dropped back to the 11th spot. He wasn't in stage point positions, as it looks like the 16 there, Tom Bourne, is going to pull to pit road. Bronson Stafford are going to follow behind as well. So drivers that are in position to score stage points now pulling off onto pit road. Going to see if maybe this can work, or it may as well be the cycle that starts here. You see Scott to the top side, Sweeting to the inside, trying to get the run and trying to make it work. Matthew Rodriguez as well pulled onto pit road.
Yeah, I'm wondering if maybe they don't have the fuel to make it to this stage because these issues so many people would be giving up stage points. But then again, I'd always give up stage points for the race win. So
Jake Ewing, Alonso Chicano as well pitting in now. Looks like Lupe Gonzalez, Brandon Buchwald are pitting in as well. Here comes a big run to the inside. Chuck Sweeting trying to pressure Philip Scott into a mistake. He's right there on the back bumper of the 99.
And those two are almost all by themselves now if everybody haven't come to pit road.
2-second gap to third place, James Lorello. But yeah, a lot of these guys are thinking bigger picture. They're thinking about the race win more than they're thinking about a stage win. So they're going for the long play, while some of these guys are going for the short-term success. James Lorello is on pit road right now.
Floppy Tellier actually has jumped Tom Bourne, Bronson Stafford, and all the other drivers who pitted by coming a lap earlier. Plus, looking at what I got, he was on pit road for a shorter amount of time than every other driver. Only 38.6 seconds in the pit lane, about a second or two quicker than almost everybody else.
Yeah, very quick stop before you see, there goes Philip Scott diving to pit road. So Chuck Sweeting is going to be out in front as the race leader right now. I mean, you were right, though, with the 65% fuel limit, I wonder if they could not make it to the end of the stage without a stop, or at the very least, if they were going to have to push to try to do it. That we'll see as this unfolds with just 2 laps to go in the stage, and we come into the last lap in stage 1 here just in a second.
I think at minimum that means they probably can't make the entire race on 2 stops. They probably have to pit 3 times, and those who are going for the overall race are going to pit earlier because I think
Chuck
race long that might be the winning strategy.
It's going to leave the 74 of Jake Bustos out right now. So the 74 comes to start-finish line. 1 lap to go in the stage. Jonathan Gaston now cycles to second.
Yeah, and Floppy Tellier, by coming to pit road first, might end up getting some stage points out of it as he jumped everybody else who came to pit road. And we've only got 4 cars that haven't pitted yet.
We got more than that. We've got a good amount that still have yet to come to pit road, but the 74 slowing. That's going to open the door. The 55 actually towed, so the 55 had an issue. So Jake Bustos is going to come to pit road looking for the 72 of Gaston. It looks like he's going to come to pit road as well. The 28 to pit road here. I think with the way it's going to score, though, it depends on how they cycle through. So we watch the 9, Joseph Heater. He's the last one that would have to pit now compared to the other drivers. He is going to slow it and come to pit road, so that means Jake
Jake Bustos won the stage. His pit box was past start finish. Him and Jonathan Gaston in top 2. Then Jamar Dumas will be 3rd in the stage. Floppy Tellier 4th.
It depends on how they score it. I'm not sure how they're going to score it, but for now, we'll flash this up on your screen for you. Tellier, Stafford, Ewing, Bourne, Scott. Those show as your top 5 at the conclusion of this stage. So now stage 2 is underway.
Yeah, I'm not sure how they actually crossed the line, because it really comes down to those people who pitted last probably would have crossed the line first, but it depends if your if your pit box is before or after start finish. But Floppy Tellier now the leader.
Well, the big factor is also going to be how they play it off. Those the drivers that stay out and don't pit, do they get the stage points, or does it go to just whoever crosses the line first?
I think it's going to James Bustos. He basically did what Jeff Burden did in the Winston, however many years back. The old pit on the last lap of the stage to win the stage strategy.
We don't know, so we're not going to try to speculate, but for now, it's a battle for the lead. Bronson Stafford out front, Shane Ewing right there in the background, Tom Bourne up to 3rd, and there you see Philip Scott rolling up on this pack as well. They have gotten by the 47 of Floppy Tellier, now doing battle with the 61, who gets a little sideways in front of Shane Ewing.
And you can tell Floppy Tellier, that's just the difference of him having pitted 2 or 3 laps before all those other cars. Those 2 or 3 extra laps on the tires costing him almost a half second of lap time at this point.
Top 4 right there in a breakaway. It's Stafford, Ewing, Scott, and Bourne. 1, 2, 3, and 4, all right here on the picture.
And Philip Scott does have the freshest tires of this group. Pitted 2 laps after everybody else. Oh, aggressive move by Shane Ewing under Bronson Stafford.
Ewing going to go for the race lead to the inside of Stafford through 3 and 4. He's got Scott and Bourne behind him. James Lorello gets by Floppy Tellier. Oh, Ewing's going to slide on the exit of 4. He gathers it back up, gets it back straight. Stafford leads at the line that time. Ewing still fighting back on the inside.
Yeah, and this has been, so far, the story of this race. No one has been able to really separate themselves from the rest of the pack. They are now going to go 3 wide down the backstretch.
Philip Scott got a 2 for 1 for second. Why not a 2 for 1 for the lead here in the middle of stage 2? He'll take the position, and Philip Scott cycles back around to the race lead.
And if I'm the people behind him, I'm a little nervous because he's on a little bit fresher tires, and those little fresher tires, he might be able to put some distance here and really take this race in his hands.
Looking back here, Chuck Sweeting is right here in 6th. He pit a lap after Philip Scott did. He's now charging up into the 4th position to the inside of Tom Bourne, now looking for 3rd on Shane Ewing.
Yeah, and you can just see the difference in pace just a few laps on the tires makes there as Sweeting just goes blowing by those cars as he'll now look for Bronson Stafford for the 2nd position.
Continue to fight as now Sweeting going to the inside of Bronson Stafford here for 2nd.
He's going to take that with ease. Nothing that Bronson Stafford can do about that with the tire difference there.
Bourne and Lorello battling back there for 4th here. Looks like Lorello is going to get the better of the 16 for now on the outside lane. We're going to try to slide up there with him, but it's not going to quite work. Now Lorello is going to try to work on Stafford here to the inside. He goes. This is for 3rd. Lorello clears for 3rd. Gonna try to hunt down the race leaders if he can, but he's got a tall task ahead of him because out front is the 99. Philip Scott lead of the field. Chuck Sweeting, James Lorello, Bronson Stafford, and Tom Bourne, your top 5. Don't go anywhere. We're going to take you on a quick JCTV side-by-side break. You're watching the C2 Graphics 150 for the Total Nonstop Racing Shoes Lawn Care Cup Series.
Hey, man, you cut me off back there. What you gonna do about it? Oh, man.
Can you feel it? The taste of Coca-Cola when the race is
Fine, fine. Are we good? We're good.
Fly the blimp, too much hot air. Race announcer, same thing there. Wouldn't get a word in with you know who. Just get down on the track and do what you do. Slide down in my seat, pull the belts tight. Get up on the wheel and let the dust fly. Never know how. Never know how.
So what do you got in that loader, Tony?
Just did my mail run, Chase. 3,100 pounds of letters from the best fans on earth.
You have this many fans.
Yes.
You sure some of this isn't hate mail?
Nope. All fan mail.
This one's about weight loss.
That's not mine.
It has your name on it.
I'm a popular guy.
It says VIP membership renewal.
Not cool to read other people's mail, kid.
This isn't fan mail.
Mahindra, the official tractor of Tough and Stewart Haas Racing.
Man, running out of hot water, that's like running out of gas during a race.
You got that right.
That's why I'm getting a Richmond water heater, man. They're dependable.
A real winner.
They got everything here, too. And the prices, they're low.
Come to Menards. Check out our huge selection of Richmond water heaters in stock today. You'll save big money now. Low prices, lower energy cost.
Man, what an awesome store.
I'm proud to have them as a partner.
Let's go win some races for Menards.
Let's do it.
Save big money at Menards.
Man, we're door to door. I have the better car, fresher tires. I drove it in deep, and you missed it. I know you wanted to watch it, but you got throttled by your data plan, and it slowed you down. You hit your data limit streaming all that techno music, didn't you? I mean, really? Man, you've got some questionable taste in music.
Switch to Sprint, the only network with truly unlimited data.
Well, they're letting fans design cars again.
Aliens. I know they're out there. So with Toyota's help, I designed a car to welcome them with open arms.
Cool car. I was abducted once. Oh, you're back.
Will they make contact? I don't know, but I want to believe.
What will you design? Enter for a chance to win. Sponsorfire.com.
Thank you.
So, Ginny, what makes you an awesome different driver?
Well, there's a lot to it. Man, it's a rush. So what makes home selling with OfferPad awesome different?
Oh, so much. But with OfferPad, it's a lot more home selling stuff and a lot less bumping into people.
Well, I don't bump into anyone.
Home selling with OfferPad is awesome different. Request your free cash offer today at OfferPad.com.
You're watching the Schue's Lawn Care TNR Cup Series here for the C2 Graphics 150 at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Just approaching the halfway point of this race, Chuck Sweeting took the lead back from Philip Scott. You saw it all in Nonstop, and right now at 75 is looking to stretch his legs and get out of Dodge. As we continue here into stage number 2.
Comparable lap.
So as we get back out here, Chuck Sweeting leading, Philip Scott in second. You see up ahead, there is a slower car there on the bottom that pulls out of the way. I believe that is the number 35. That'd be Robert Tripp. He's now a lap down. First car's a lap down. Put a lap down on track as you see some more lap traffic up ahead here. I believe that's the 28 of Dumas there. But yeah, what have you been looking for, Brett?
Yeah, I've been seeing really Chuck Sweeting's been getting away. The pit strategy is interesting here. Him pitting a lap later than everybody else has really given him the lead and let him pull away. You're seeing that difference. Meanwhile, Jake Bustos, who is the last driver to come to pit road, has also been slowly climbing his way back to the field. Is up to 7th and is running similar or better lap times than Chuck Sweeting, but really lost a lot of track of time by staying out as long as he did. So I don't know if he'll be able to get back to him. But yeah, that's what else. Also, during the break, I'm not sure if you caught it on JCTV Nonstop or not, but we had Tom Bourne, one of the early leaders in this race, make pretty hard contact with the wall on the back straight. Looked like he tried to make a right turn off the turn 2, trying to just pull up in front of Alonso Chicano and hit the wall hard. A little bit of damage to the right side of that car might hurt his performance. Might need to have to wait to get a caution, hopefully, to get that fixed for him, or else he might have a long day the rest of the way.
Bron Stafford and Matt Muir are on pit road. We've got 9 laps to go here in stage number 2. We're going to see how things pan out for our leaders, Chuck Sweeting and Philip Scott, as they are out on track. Sweeting looking to get back and stay out front. You see back behind him, that's the 3 car. That is Jason Schue. He has currently scored 3 laps down. He is trying to fight to the inside of the race leader and get one of those laps back right now. Looks like Matthew Rodriguez is slow on the wall, actually. He has made hard contact with the wall. The 57 has sliding to the inside lane. He's going to get it to pit road. Or actually,
he's got a long way to go. He's got a long way to go to get back to pit road.
Yeah, that's all the way back on the back stretch here. Take a quick look at your JCTV replay. See just what happened to this 57. Looks like he had issues in the dogleg and just rode the wall through 1 and 2. Not quite sure what happened, but see that was the 96. I believe a Brandon Buchwald that slid up right next to him, but he limped it around and got to pit road, but that's going to end the day of the 57 here pretty early.
Yeah, there's no way he's going to come back from that. That was a big hit too. Very well. This car does have a tendency to get the wheels knocked out of alignment, and that very well could have done that.
Drivers coming to pit road, Shane Ewing, Lupe Gonzalez, they are on pit road now, 9th and 10th, as they're scored as they run. But Chuck Sweeting continuing to stay out. He has currently been out there for 24 laps. As you see here on the side ticker there, 25 laps since he last made a trip down pit road. Looks like James Lorello is going to make his stop here as we're approaching the end of the stage. Alonso Chicano in on pit road as well. Is Tom Bourne coming down as well.
Yeah, and once again, Chuck Sweeting and Philip Scott staying out longer than everybody else. They might give up the lead on the short run, but I think it's going to play out very similarly where they are able to gap everybody on the long run. I would want to be the first one to pit road here. I don't know about you, but I think if you can get on pit road a lap before, that second or two you can gain over the guy might be the difference.
Well, we saw the difference between Sweeting and Scott. I mean, Sweeting pit a lap after Scott did, and he was able to stretch out to about a half a second lead over this 99 car. So, I mean, he was able to fight through traffic and get up to battle and then make the move for the lead pretty quickly. So I have a feeling we're going to see Sweeting at least stretch it a little longer than we saw Scott. We'll have to see what they do.
Yeah, and if you can make it that extra lap, that could be huge for you. The one thing you got to be careful of here is you don't want to run it too long, because if you run it too long, you could end up having a situation where you lose too much time to those who pit earlier, and on that last run of the race, you might have not enough laps to get back by people.
Well, still 3 to go in stage 2 when they cross the stripe this next time by. 75 looks like he might be slowing, as is the 99. So we got both the leaders coming to pit road here and making their pit stops here before the conclusion of stage 2.
And Philip Scott got on to pit road a little bit better than Chuck Sweeting there, pulled in on him a little bit, and that could be a big difference here, as whoever gets on and off pit road better That's really where you can really make up time on these green flag stops.
So the 74 stays out this time, as does the 5 of Bill Edwards. Jonathan Gaston as well in 3rd place now. Stayed on the racetrack. Looks like Dawes might be coming to pit road this time. Indeed he is. See there, the 13. That is James Lorello unlapping himself in 9th place.
And they actually launched out of their pit stall simultaneously, the 75 and the 99. They're off of pit road, and Sweeting is spinning, coming off pit road into the grass.
Into the grass for Chuck Sweeting. A disaster that he did not need to happen. Exiting pit road. That's going to cost him this battle with Philip Scott for now. Going to take a look back really quick. You see there, just got a little too hot there. Goes through the grass. And that is valuable time he's going to lose to the 99.
Yeah, right there. That he just got onto the gas too hard coming out of pit road, spun up the rear tires and sent it sideways, and did a good job of not completely looping it and keeping it and just taking it easy through the grass and getting it back going. Resisted the urge to just floor it, trying to make up that lost time, but that might very well, if we don't get a caution, that might very well end his chances of winning this race here today.
Bill Edwards on pit road. That leaves Bustos and Gaston out on track right now. The 74. Do the same thing he did last stage. Now the thing is, we're going to be confused about he'll cross the stripe first. Not sure if it'll credit him for the stage win or not. I would believe it would. So with this, Bustos going to pull to pit road. Gaston's going to come around in 2nd right now. We'll see what the 72 does. I would assume he's going to pull it down pit road as well. In fact, he's going to stay out an extra lap. The 74 has crossed the stripe first. That'll credit Gaston with 2nd here in the stage. He stays out the extra lap.
Yeah, I think Gaston was hoping he could pass Bustos while Bustos was on pit road and maybe take the stage win, but Bustos able to get to the line first despite being on pit road.
So it'll be Stafford scored 3rd, Lorello 4th, Scott 5th, Ewing will be 6th, Chicano 7th, and Tom Bourne 8th at the conclusion of stage number 2.
Yeah, Bronson Stafford does have a large lead right now over Lorello and Scott, but he came 7 laps earlier than Philip Scott, and I got to think that that's not going to work out on the long run here for him.
We have yet to see Gaston on pit road. Bronson Stafford takes the race lead now. He has got a healthy 2.5 seconds over Philip Scott, but that's going to be eaten into quickly as Stafford pits 7 laps before Philip Scott.
Yeah, and Philip Scott was a full second a lap quicker last lap, so I don't think it's going to be very long before Philip Scott is right on the back bumper of the 61. And that mistake by Chuck Sweeting has taken him from ahead of Philip Scott to now 8 seconds behind Philip Scott.
Now what I'm going to watch for here as we approach lap 63, Stafford is not, completely out of it. He is losing about a second a lap. You can see Scott there in the background. Lorello as well is popped up in the picture as well in the back. But at the end of this race, it's going to be about an 11-lap run to the finish after the final pit stop, give or take. If Stafford can make it last and he can stretch it long enough, he'll have a chance to try to steal the win, with this strategy. It's going to take a little bit of extra help, but, Philip Scott's not going to be able to lock it up or anything. He's going to have a battle. Stafford's going to try to hold it off with this strategy, but it's going to take a little work for the 61 to make it last.
Yeah, and I think with the 61, he's actually splitting this race into direct quarters. He has pitted on, I think, lap 26 and lap 51, so he is pitting every 25 laps. Philip Scott's going to be more of a short run to the finish, as if I'm Stafford, I'm going to try to block Scott, as he tried to do so, but Philip Scott is going to go by him with ease.
Philip Scott back out front here to the inside of Bronson Stafford now. Philip Scott takes the race lead back away here on lap number 65. Back in the background there, that is the 72. That is Jonathan Gaston coming up on fresher tires. He's going to try to unlap himself here.
Contact! Around goes Stafford! Caution's going to fly.
Stafford going to go for a spin off the front bumper. I believe the 72, the caution will fly for the first time here tonight. In the C2 Graphics
I believe that was the
150.
13 of James Lorello that was off of the front bumper of.
Last week's
Lorello.
doubleheader winner going for a spin here.
Yeah, Lorello had caught him on fresh tires, and looks like he just caught him up on him, and the closing rate was quicker than I think Lorello expected, and he just got in the rear bumper of the 61, and around he went. Good job by Stafford to keep it off the fence, and probably will be fine. It'll be interesting to see, though, can you possibly stretch it from here?
Go back to the JCTV. Go back to the JCTV replay. Yeah, the 13, Lorello actually gets in the back of the 61. Face of action there to miss that spinning car by Vincent Valvano.
Yeah, everybody did a great job there getting through that accident without getting involved. That could have very easily been a multi-car accident and ended a couple guys' day.
On board with Lorello as he got in the back of the 61 there.
Meanwhile, we do have some takers on pit road here. I think if you're pitting here, you are planning to run the rest of the race and try to stretch it on fuel.
All right, there the contact, the 61 and the 13.
As actually Bronson Stafford just rolled through pit road without stopping, as did Floppy Tellier. I'm wondering, they are on older tires. I'm wondering if they just want to start at the back of the pack and then come in earlier than everybody else here. That might be their move. Meanwhile, Chuck Sweeting also came into the pits. And he appears to have taken fuel only, a 5.9 second stop. As I don't think anybody took tires under that caution. Stafford and Tellier back down pit road this time. I'm wondering if their plan was just to roll down pit road so they could pit on 2 to go without penalty. Maybe top off on fuel. And it will be 4 tires for both of them, it appears. I think that's going to be what to keep the eye on here is the 61 and the 47 coming through on fresh tires. They're going to be coming like bats out of hell.
Looks like Tom Bourne back on pit road as well. Possibly taking his final set of tires as well. Indeed, it looks like the sides are getting jacked up there. Getting some extra damage repair done as well, possibly to get back out there and rolling. Field a double file now as we head towards this front straightaway, towards the start-finish line. So
I do not believe they have a choose cone in this league, so you're just gonna have to start where iRacing tells you. Meanwhile, we haven't talked about him in a while, but Alonso Chicano has steadily worked his way up to the 3rd position. The other guy I gotta think really is gonna benefit from this caution is Jake Bustos. He came to the pits 3 laps later than Travis Scott and might be able to, and maybe can take advantage of being on a little bit fresher tires than those in front of him here on this restart.
Philip Scott leading the field, not Travis Scott, but he is your leader right now. James Lorello 2nd, Alonso Chicano is 3rd, Lupe Gonzalez 4th, and Jake Bustos, as mentioned, is 5th. Bill Edwards right there in 6th as well. He also pit 9 laps ago, so he's got fresher tires as well than the rest of the field. It's going to matter, though, on this restart. When we approach the start-finish line, it will be 31 laps to go when they go green, so it'll be just about the same length as it was for the stages. Pace truck is going to take that dive down to safety into pit road, leaving the field in the hands of Philip Scott as he launches on the gas pedal. The green flag is back out. You see the wheel
big
spin
wheel
there.
Spin. He did a good job keeping it straight, but he almost went spinning in front of the entire field there.
Now he's got a battle to the outside. James Lorello still fighting hard in that 13 car. You see there the 74. Bustos is coming to the inside of Chicano if he can get it. Bill Edwards thought about sending it in the middle of the corner, but he decided to back off. The 74, though, is going to take advantage. He's up to third to the inside of Chicano, now trying to get to the inside of the 13.
Yeah, those couple lap pressure tires for the 74 are really paying dividends right now.
See the 74 now up to second. I see back here in the background the 77 Matt Muir up near the wall. Past them is Shane Ewing. He came down pit road, did not take tires, but he's up there as well. Chuck Sweeting and Tom Bourne, they came down pit road. It looks like they took, or at least Bourne took tires. Sweeting did not, so now Bourne up to 8th, trying to push his way forward.
I think Sweeting just took fuel only. Maybe wanted to give himself options where if this race ran greener to finish that he maybe could stay out without pitting, but...
Oh, Lorello had issues. Here comes Bill Edwards to the outside, going for third now. Goes the 5 car.
Yeah, that last caution has really shook things up. We haven't really seen anything from Bill Edwards all day today, but he has suddenly found his way into the top in the third. And he just like Jake Bustos, he pitted a little later and is on fresher tires than almost everybody else. About 5 lap fresher than Lorello, who he just got by. And I think we are about to have a battle for the lead. Jake Bustos is really gaining very quickly on Philip Scott.
0.2 of a second. Lap.
Not Travis Scott, as I said last time.
About a 0.3 of a second, now 0.2 of a second gap between first and second. Bill Edwards also rolling that top side, trying to catch up and play a factor in this battle. That 74 on fresh tires, fresher than the leader, I should say. Definitely rolling up, trying to make it work.
And I think something to keep an eye on right now is I think there's some people trying to make it on fuel. Jonathan Gaston, I'm sorry, not Jonathan Gaston. Bronson Stafford, despite having pitted under that last caution, is running laps that are about a second or slower than you normally would be running on fresh tires. I think him and Floppy Tellier and Jamar Dumas are all trying to save fuel right now and make it without stopping again.
Definitely trying to stretch it. It's 31 laps, though. It's kind of outside the window that we've seen the drivers try to make. With that being the stage lane, but when they cross the stripe this time, 25 laps to go. Philip Scott's got the 74 to Bustos all over his back bumper. Now here comes the 74 to the inside, going to go for the race lead.
He's not quite able to clear him in 1 and 2, but he's going to have a good chance here to get by in 3 and 4. Meanwhile, Bill Edwards has closed to within a half second of both of them.
And a big gaggle of cars battling back here. Everybody there. Shane Ewing, Brandon Buckwood, Alonso Chicano down there as well. It looks like it's, I want to say, Tom Bourne right there. There's some lap traffic as well mixed in. Gaston is right there as well on some fresh tires as well. A big lot of cars there battling behind James Lorello. Just kind of watching those cars that pit. Shane Ewing is pushing it, as is Tom Bourne, but it looks like the 61 of Bronson Stafford's kind of laid back. Floppy Tellier laying back here in 13th. I mean, they're not really pushing the issue as much compared to the rest of the field, so it's likely they could be trying to stretch and save it to the end of this race.
Yeah, and on that note, Bronson Stafford just ran a 33-second lap. He is 100% trying to stretch it on fuel. There's no way he'd be running that slow of a lap time unless he was saving.
On the flip side, Shane Ewing is pushing here, trying to get by everybody he can and go for these spots. See Alonso Chicano there in the background, getting by the 28 of Jamar Dumas. And then we see the 61 there of Bronson Stafford. Oh, in the wall back on the back, it looks like it's Lupe Gonzalez in the 53.
Did a good job of keeping up against the wall. We're going to stay green here.
And now Jonathan Gaston going for fourth, making the pass on Shane Ewing.
Yeah, Shane Ewing did pit under that last caution, but appears to have possibly taken fuel only, so tire's probably a little bit older.
You saw right there, Tom Bourne just shot right by as well to get to that 5th spot. Another battle heating up. Bill Edwards right there in 3rd. Lurking in the background of Philip Scott.
And Jake Bustos has been pulling away a little bit from Philip Scott, and if I'm him, I want to get out to as big a lead as possible, and I want to be on pit road before Philip Scott, or at least on the same lap as Philip Scott. I do
James
not want
Lorello
him
to
being
pit road. Matt Moore as well is on pit lane. So likely we'll see the first stops coming here with about 20 laps to go.
And, you know, I was saying Bronson Stafford was saving. He is now the fastest car on track. I want to say if he was trying to save fuel, he's hit his fuel number, and he is now no longer saving.
Lupe Gonzalez now on pit lane. Back in 12th. As they continue on to the front straight over here. Looks like the 28 pit road. Brandon Buchwald might be slowing up a little bit there. It looked like he was slowing up, but he did not. In fact, he is still going.
And Bill Edwards did catch Philip Scott, but appears to have burnt his tires off doing so, as once he got to the back bumper, as 99 is on the pit road. And if I'm Bustos, I am pitting this lap. I do not want to stay out any longer than I have to with that 99 he's already gonna have a lap advantage here.
Brandon Buchwald now on pit road. I believe he missed pit road last time by. He gets slowed up like he was going to pit and then wound up. You see the 72 ahead. Jonathan Gaston, he gets a little sideways in front of Bronson Stafford. Now here comes the 61. He's up to 5th now.
And that 61 is not saving anymore. He is running the fastest laps on the track out of people who have not pitted.
Just up ahead of him, Shane Ewing also came down pit road at the same time. Took fuel only, but he pushed a little harder. The 61 knocks the wall down there, wrapping the top side.
Yeah, I don't think he's saving.
Across the stripe this next time. It will be 15 laps to go here in the C2 Graphics 150. Bustos leads. Edwards is 2nd. Bourne in 3rd. Ewing and Stafford, that's your top 5. Stafford looking for 3 in a row here tonight if he can get it. Right now he's looking to the outside of Shane Ewing for 4th.
He's got a really good run here. He's going to try to clear him, and he's going to try to get the big run down the backstretch and clear him into 3 and 4. And he gets side by side, and he does. I think he's going to get him here in the 3 and 4.
Moves Stafford up to 4th on his quest to get to the front. Pushing forward is the 61 now.
And
looks
Jenks Bustos into the pit road.
Bustos pits, that leaves the field in the hands of Bill Edwards. Looks like Gaston coming to pit road as well this time. So now Bill Edwards.
The first car that pitted under that last caution is Tom Bourne. He did take tires while Bronson Stafford. Actually, they both took tires. Apologies. But I think Tom Bourne did not top off. Bronson Stafford came back down and topped off on 1 to green. So Bronson Stafford is probably much more to the good on fuel than Tom Bourne is.
Stafford, Ewing, and Tellier, all 3 of them came down and topped off under that last caution. Tom Bourne did not. He took his tires and took his pit stop when he took it, so it's going to play a factor. Bill Edwards, 28 laps since he last came down pit road. So he's been out there for just a little bit longer than everybody else. He'll have to pit here in the next lap or so. I would imagine he'll be slowing up here soon to come to pit road. Indeed, he'll be coming down this time by. Here comes Bill Edwards. Meanwhile, leading the field is Tom Bourne, but he's got Bronson Stafford now in his rearview mirror.
Yeah, Bronson Stafford is right there. They are running very comparable lap times. This very well could be the race for the win.
Bourne 1 lap earlier than Stafford. Ewing and Tellier pit that same time as Stafford did.
And I do think Tellier has been saving a lot harder than the other three. So I think he's the one who is going to for sure make it. But I think Stafford, the way Stafford drove early in this stint, I think he saved enough early in this stint and is now pushing.
Stafford is going for career win number 5 if he can get it.
And I know it's early in the season, but never too early to start thinking about the championship. Back-to-back wins to start the season. A win, or even a second-place finish here could give him a huge lead in the point standings after only 3 races.
Indeed, yeah. Stafford going for win number 3 going for his 3rd win in a row. Career win number 5. Tom Bourne is looking for his first win in this series. If he can get it tonight, he's trying to stretch it, but he'll have to stretch it for 10 more laps as we approach 1 and 2 here. The 74 going to go by on the inside. Of course, Jake Bustos came down pit road. He's going to unlap himself just behind them there. I believe that is the 64 of Vincent Valvano, going to get one of his 4 laps back here if he can get by the 16. But you see here, Stafford still right there. 0.3 of a second behind.
Oh, that was close between the 64 and the 16 there.
Bourne slow. Here comes Stafford. Stafford going to try to the outside. 9 to go.
Yeah, I wonder if that 64 there kind of crossed Bourne up off the corner, got him loose. Stafford is right there for the lead.
Stafford going to build a run off the corner. Bourne has nothing for him. Here comes Bronson Stafford to the outside, battling for the race lead here late in the runnings of the C2 Graphics 150.
Yeah, that one little slip up by Tom Bourne. He's going to try to fight back on the inside, but he looks like he's getting a little loose. And Bronson Stafford to the lead.
To the lead, but still a challenge looming with Tom Bourne right there. Shane Ewing as well is still in the picture. If something happens, Bourne going to go to the bottom as Stafford goes to the top. That's going to open the door. Oh, Stafford's in the wall. Stafford gets in the wall. Bourne back to the race lead.
It looked like there the 53 of Lupe Gonzalez unlapping himself may have crossed Stafford up and got him in the fence.
Now he's got to put his head back down and grind it out for at least 7 more laps to catch back up to Tom Bourne and go for this race lead. There's Bill Edwards in 9th place, going to go to unlap himself, passing by Tom Bourne here as he approaches.
Yeah, and so far that seems to be where people are having trouble is these cars on fresher tires are just flying up on them. And it seems like it's really crossing them up at times. Also, Shane Ewing is suddenly right back in it. As Stafford getting the wall, Shane Ewing is right on his back bumper.
It's still about 0.6 of a second. Stafford was slower that last time by. You see the Bourne trying to fight that control of that car if he can. 6 laps to go here in Atlanta.
They're going to dispatch the 95 of Will Ratcliffe. He is 15 laps down, just making laps right now.
Battle is for second between Stafford and Ewing. They are side by side, exiting turn 2. Ewing working the bottom. Stafford still riding the top side, but it's going to be the 61 still prevailing for now. But as they sit side by side, that's just opening Tom Bourne's lead even further. But the thing is, 5 laps to go. Do they have enough in the tank?
And that is the question. Tom Bourne, once again, did not top off. So he might have a little less fuel in the tank than Stafford and Ewing do.
28 laps since he came down pit road. 5 more to go. Does he have enough to make it to the end, or is he going to end up running short?
Stafford has gotten back clear. If I was Tom Bourne, that's what you really wanted to see in your rearview mirror was them side by side. Meanwhile, Jonathan Gaston coming up to unlap himself, as is Brandon Buchwald.
10th and 11th place right now. And Chicano in 12th right there. They are all right here in this mix as we hit 4 laps to go. mentioned at the start of this broadcast, Tom Bourne was a familiar name for anybody who watches JCTV. He is a former winner in the Independence News Truck Series. He's had 4 starts. Get this, out of 4 starts, 3 of them were from the pole position, including a win, all of those coming back in Season 1, with his win coming at Las Vegas. Just a fun fact for you, that was the debut of a lot of the drivers in SPLD for that race. But I notice here, oh, Tom Bourne is losing time. Tom Bourne may be out, or he may be trying to save as hard as he can, but suddenly Stafford has closed the gap, as has Shane Ewing.
I think he's saving. I think he's trying to get behind these cars and get a draft and save, because he probably just looked at his fuel and saw that he was just a little bit short.
2 more circuits to go. 3 miles is how much gas Tom Bourne needs.
At this point, I think all you can do is just go for it. If you run out, you run out. I don't think there's any more saving.
Stafford's got a lap car between him and the
Dumas
race
is in the
leader.
wall there behind him.
He's got James Lorello going by the 61. Coming out of turn 4, Tom Bourne just needs a lap of fuel left. 1 lap to go here at Atlanta. Stafford gets a little loose on the front straightaway.
Tom Bourne, if he has enough fuel, looks like he has built enough of a gap that he'll be able to hold on. But does he have enough?
And now the back straightaway for the final time. 0.7 of a second is the gap for the race lead.
He might be able to coast it from here.
In his 16th start, he's had a 2nd place finish in 2/3. Never able to get to victory lane, but he'll break that streak tonight. Tom Bourne is going to win the C2 Graphics 150.
He has an impressive job of fuel saving by Tom Bourne to pull it off. Bronson Stafford 2nd, Shane Ewing 3rd.
Tom Bourne takes the win. Bronson Stafford, Shane Ewing, Floppy Tellier 4th, and Chuck Sweeting brings it home 5th. And it was Jake Bustos, Philip Scott, Bill Edwards, Lupe Gonzalez, and Alonzo Chicano finishing up in the top 5 there here tonight.
Does he actually feel to do a burnout? I'm going to go with no. He has stopped the car.
The 47, though, he's got enough fuel. But Tom Bourne lands his first career win.
He still got fuel. Apparently they weren't that close.
He's got enough to get a little bit of a burn it down.
Yeah, and that was a risky decision by Bourne, Stafford, and others to pit under that last caution and take that last set of tires. I think we've all seen in iRacing and other leagues here that you can take that last set of tires, and then if you get a caution later on, you are just up a creek without a paddle. But a great call here to take the tires, and ends up paying off for Tom Bourne. He'll be in victory lane and pays off everybody else who pitted as well, as Stafford, Ewing, Tellier, and Sweeting all get top 5s out of it.
We'll take a look at your finishing results here. Tom Bourne, of course, snatching the victory. Bronson Stafford 2nd, Shane Ewing 3rd, Floppy Tellier in 4th, Chuck Sweeting, an unfortunate way to end his day. He finishes 5th in what could have been a winning effort. Bustos was able to bring it home in 6th. There you see Philip Scott, Bill Edwards, and then Alonzo Chicano rounding out your top 10. Charlie Gaston and Brandon Buckwall were able to get their laps back. At the line, there was a battle between Dawes and Jamar Dumas. You saw them spinning across the stripe. They finished 5/100ths of a second was the finish between the two of them. For 16th, they were right on each other coming to the line. And there you see the final finishers there. Valvano, Ratcliffe, Rodriguez, and Gleason finishing out this running order. Crazy, hectic, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, that was That was a great race. Very clean race. A lot cleaner than some recent races we've seen here on JCTV. But despite that, not a lack of action as that lead. No, I don't think the leader ever got out to a lead of more than maybe 2 or 3 seconds the entire race, and it was battling in the top 5 all race long. That was quite an exciting race.
Indeed, it was a lot of fun at the finish, but now we go down and see if we can get a hold of our third place finisher here, Shane Ewing, able to bring it home third here tonight.
Shane Ewing, this is Brett up in the JCTV booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, man, I got you.
Good job today. Came home with a third place finish. You played the strategy right, pitting under that caution of about 30 to go. What was going through your mind as you pitted there, and what were your thoughts?
Well, believe it or not, it was a mistake. I was thinking we had 2 more sets of tires, so when I got up on the jack and it said this is your last set, I'm like, oh no. I'm like, all right, well, I got some play in the fuel game, and I looked down and I was still, I don't know, 5 or 6 laps short, so I pitted every lap until we went green, and then I just saved as much as I could, and I ran out of gas on the front stretch coming to the checkered flag. So I'd rather be lucky than good.
Sometimes it does happen that way. You showed some speed in this race. We're battling up front for a lot of it. How was the car handling out there? It seemed like it was a handful all race long.
Yeah, it was a handful, but as drivers, that's the kind of the way we want to race them. Where it's in your hands. It was a lot of fun to drive, but it wasn't easy. If you tried to ask for more of the car than it was willing to give you, it would bite you in the ass. As a league, I think we all did a really good job with that. With only 1 caution, I was really shocked at that. But yeah, man, that's exactly, we want them to handle like that on an old, worn out racetrack. After changing Atlanta and California being gone, we don't have any of these tracks left in real life. But thanks to iRacing and keeping legacy tracks, we can still race them on here.
Yeah, it's always fun to go to the old worn out surfaces. So for you, who gets it done for you? Who'd you like to thank here tonight?
I'd like to thank you guys in the booth and TNR. They really do a great job and have a good group of people. One of the most well-run leagues I've ever been in. I wish I could race more. Hopefully, I can coming up this season. But my family, friends, all my buddies at Dizzy Motorsports, I want to thank them too. Thanks.
And thank you. Anything else you want to say before we get off here?
Yeah, just it's a privilege to run in this series, and I appreciate you guys having me.
Thank you, Shane. And that was Shane Ewing, our third place finisher here tonight.
And Brett, what do you say you go ahead and catch up with our second place finisher as well, Boston Stafford?
Bronson Stafford, this is Brett Bennett up in the JCTV booth. You got a copy?
I got you.
Well, you looked like you might have a chance to get it done today. Ended up coming up just short, finishing second here today. What more did you need at the end of that race?
I needed to not get the wall when I pushed the clutch in and passed Tom. It's we were all clutching and saving fuel, so it was kind of the one shot at it. Besides that, I had to save fuel, so there wasn't really a run I could make at it again.
Yeah, I understand it. What did the lapped car play at all into you getting the wall there? It looked like y'all were having some trouble there with the cars that had just pitted on the fresh tires coming up, flying through you.
No, when you clutch the thing gets way tighter, and it just went straight. It wouldn't turn down, it wouldn't slow down or brake or nothing. I get off, like you'd get off the clutch and it would suddenly turn, but when the clutch was in, it wanted to go straight. It was really weird.
Yeah, I've never done that before, but I can imagine that is an interesting feeling. Still a second place finish here tonight after winning both races at Daytona, setting yourself up really well in the point standings. What are your thoughts on that as you move forward here in this season?
Yeah, can't really complain. I mean, we got a team 1, 2, and like 4th and wherever Mir finished, I'm not sure. But Yeah, it was a good night, and winning both races last week, so a second place doesn't even feel bad at all. We'll still be points leader. We had good stages and everything, so yeah, we'll go to next week and hopefully be a little bit quicker right off the bat instead of needing strategy a little bit. That's probably only about a maybe 3rd to 5th place car, but so taking second is pretty good.
Going to the strategy, you decided to pit after you got spun out there, got a little bit caught up with the 13. Was that just kind of reacting to losing that track position to getting spun, or was that kind of just your thought all along that if a caution came out around that time that you were going to pit and try to make it on fuel?
I didn't think we could make it, but Hellier kind of said we could, and I was like, all right, well, I mean, it's worth taking the shot. Either we'll have to pit with everyone else in this last run anyway or not, but after spinning too, I kind of needed the tires. It's just, so it was like we had to try and do something, and it was convenient, I guess, that we were able to make it with a little bit of saving and whatnot. Otherwise, it would have been a lot more painful if we had to restart on the tires I just spun out on and had to pit under green. I think we maybe would have finished just inside the top 10 instead. So yeah, I'm glad it worked out. It kind of happened at a perfect time, and yeah, it sucks to get spun out, but I think the tire difference was just so extreme. Didn't expect me to lift so early for 3 and whatever. Didn't hit anything else, so we were okay.
Yeah, it didn't look intentional, at least from up here. So is there anybody you'd like to thank? Who gets it done for you?
The whole Sky Motorsports team. We had a good running. Like I said, we got 1st, 2nd, and 4th, and I'm not sure where Mir finished, but everything that happens there, and just you know, Garrett and Mike put this together. I know Mike loves running here, but Garrett and stuff like that too. It's a fun little league. It's I mean, we had 1 yellow tonight in a Gen 4 car at Old Atlanta. I think that's a pretty good night, and obviously you guys for broadcasting. I think you guys stepped in tonight for 3 wide or whatever it was, so that's nice. That's great. Always fun, and always appreciate, you know, being able to go back and watch the races.
Yeah, and it was a fun race to watch up here in the booth. Any last words before we move to our interview of Tom Bourne?
Oh, just, you know, good job for Tom. He was saying he wanted to win this one all week, and he did it. So he'll feel good about it.
I'm gonna put you on the spot here and say, do you have a question you want us to ask Tom Bourne?
Oh no, not really. I talked to him all race long. I ain't got nothing.
Okay, no problem. Well, congrats on the 2nd place finish.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
That was our 2nd place finisher, Bronson Stafford. A good recovery from that spin to come home 2nd.
Hey, what's up, guys? It was definitely a stressful time. A couple of guys, I ended up coming down to repair some damage, not taking tires or fuel or anything, and decided to pit with 2 to go. Everybody came down with 1 to go, so right there off the bat, I had about a lap less than everybody else that pit with me, but just started clutching from the beginning and kept watching. I knew people behind me were clutching and everything, and it was just meant to be. And you know, we had a fast car all race long, just trouble with the track and everything, and it was just a very stressful time. But knew I had to keep watching the fuel and trying to just make sure. I wanted 1 lap extra in the bank just in case. So if I had to run hard the last 2 laps, I could.
Yeah, and you know we saw you mixing it up early on in the race, and then when it came down to it at the end, that pit stop there, that call to kind of gamble with it, paid off. But what was those last few laps like battling with Bronson Stafford there? As he kind of caught up to you and really started mixing it up with you with about like 11 to go?
Yeah, racing with Bronson's always fun. Like I said, he was on the same strategy as I was. We kind of went down there as a team, and went that route, praying there was going to be no caution. Thankfully, there wasn't. But he's always fun to race around. Always gives me a run for my money and everything. And I genuinely thought, I was telling him after the race, like, once you got to me and passed me, like I was content with trying to run second, like seeing if you would run out or anything. But once he hit the wall, I was like, all right, I'm just going to continue fuel saving, make sure I have enough, and go from there. And thankfully, once the last lap came out, I saw I had 2 laps of fuel left, and I'm like, all right, he's closing on me again. I'm going.
Yeah, and you were able to push it at the end and get there to victory lane here tonight. First win here in the Total Nonstop Racing League. So, floor is yours. Teammates, sponsors, what got you here to victory lane tonight?
Yeah, just got to thank, Sky Motorsports and Bronson for putting together another fast car. 3 in a row for the team to start off the season. Not too shabby. Ghost Energy, Fire News, my teammates, Mike, Rod, all of them out there. Mir, he paints beautiful cars week in and week out, and I believe he had a good finish tonight. You guys for jumping in. I think it was a last-minute thing for you guys, so appreciate you guys coming in and broadcasting the race. Hopefully we put on a show for everybody watching. Everybody that watches these races, shout out to you guys for supporting people like me racing in leagues and whatnot. And most of all, my beautiful fiance, Melissa, she's my #1 supporter. And, haven't been able to give her too many interviews over the last, I don't know how many months, but we've been racking them up left and right recently, and hopefully we can continue.
Definitely. Well, congratulations again. Tom Bourne, your winner here in the C2 Graphics 150.
Thanks, guys.
And with that gets us here to the end of the road. Brett, what were your thoughts at the conclusion of that race?
I thought it was a really exciting race. Lots of different strategies playing out. Ended up being that pitting under that late caution ended up being the right move. Is really paid off for people. Impressive job by Tom Bourne saving enough fuel despite being at that disadvantage compared to Stafford, Ewing, and Tellier. And I thought overall they put on a great show here. I always love watching the Gen 4 cars, and tonight was no different. Look forward to the next time we're here, and looking forward to tomorrow night getting some Daytona racing going on.
Yeah, absolutely. Talking about what we've got this week here on JCTV for those first-time tuning in for the Total Nonstop Racing League. Of course, the Slide Job Racing League that we have on Tuesday nights goes to the Duels for set their lineups for the iRacing Funny 250. That runs next week at Daytona, but tomorrow night we set the field. Friday night, the NAOR series comes back from their hiatus to race at Phoenix. That is 9 p.m. Eastern on Friday night here on JCTV for the DI9 Designs NAOR series. And of course, the In the Pits News Truck Series running this Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern at Martinsville. It's going to be a good one. You don't want to miss it. And of course, talking about that ITPN schedule, we're coming up on the chase. We've got 6 races left. You can see there Martinsville, the Charlotte Roval, the Indianapolis Raceway Park, Kansas, and then the Talladega doubleheader lies in wait for the drivers of the In the Pits News Truck Series. Who will come out on top and who will race for a championship? Find out Saturdays at 8 p.m. Eastern here on JCTV. We also want to send a shout out to 3 Wide TV. They're usually the broadcasters for this league. We were able to take over for them tonight last minute to help them. They were unable to get here in time to broadcast, so we took over for them tonight. If you want to catch any more action for Total Nonstop Racing, be sure to check out 3 Wide TV. They will have the broadcast from here on out. That is Monday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern. So with that being said, that does it for us here from a JCTV broadcast. I want to thank you for tuning in if this is your first time tuning in. And if not, we'll see you the next time we come around. Congrats again to Tom Bourne, scoring his first win here in the TNR Cup Series. He was able to burn it down, had just enough fuel to make it last to the end. For Brett Bennett, this is Dawson Allen signing off, saying so long, and have a great rest of your night.